Hello, creatives. Thank you for dropping by. Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out, helps out the algorithm, and helps the channel grow. So today I'm a little hatless today, trying out a different look. See how it works. You guys, let me know what you think. Should I go back to the hat or you know leave the dome exposed? All right. So today's thought is an interesting one. It's one that we all know, but it's not one that we all practice. So the thought for today is most of success is just showing up. Now, that's kind of abstract. So let me give you a more concrete example. I have some of the most amazing readers on the planet. I call them the Mob family, mages of badassery, if we could say that. And they're incredible. They help my books do really well. They support me. They're amazing. I couldn't ask for a better group of readers. In order, and it didn't happen overnight, obviously. I mean, I've been at this for a little while now. But in order for that to exist, I had to show up. I had to write books, and then I had to create a community. I had to start a community and slowly, organically grow that community. Now, my group isn't very big, but it's an amazing community, and they're like they're the most incredible. But it didn't happen by itself. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen easily. It happened organically, but I had to show up. And I'm sure, because this happens with all of us, that there are things in your life that are waiting to happen, but they're also waiting for you to show up. And it's hard for us to wrap our minds around that because we have a tendency to downplay excuse me, we have a tendency to downplay the role that we play, the role that we take up in the great projects in our life. We seem to think that we're not that important, or this stuff can happen without me. It's no big deal. That's not the case. Many times it's waiting for your input. Whatever the situation is waiting for you to act. But if you don't act, it gets stuck. It becomes stagnant. It doesn't happen. So most of success is just showing up, because when you show up, I'll give you another example. Back in my martial arts day, and I'm still, training in my own way. But back when I used to go to a dojo and train, the hardest part of training wasn't the techniques that we did in class and the thousands upon thousands of punches and kicks and all these other techniques that we did and the kata and all of that. The hardest part of class was getting to the dojo, because it was at the end of the day. It was after a day of work. It was after, a long day or a tiring day, and you just didn't have the energy, and you had to drag yourself to class many times. Didn't mean I didn't enjoy training. I loved training, but getting there was the hard part. And I used to tell, once we had our own dojo, I used to tell students the same thing. Hardest part of training is getting here, because once you're here, you've committed to what you want to do. You've committed to training. You've committed to giving it your all, but you got to get here first. And it's the same thing with the projects in your life, the great things in your life, that the hardest part is showing up. I'm taking my example. You want to write a book, you got to show up every day. You got to write, you got to study, you got to, learn the craft. You want to knit, you have to get the needles, you've got to learn how to knit, you got to learn how to crochet, you have to do all that. You got to learn, you got to show up. You want to start a school for kids, well, you got to learn what it means to do that. You got to see how you can do it. You got to enlist other people to help you, but you have to show up. In other words, you've got to have a dream, but it can't just remain a dream. It has to be a dream with action together. It can't just be a dream, because if it's just a dream, then it's just going to sustain your mind for all eternity. You have to take that dream and add action to it together. And then it becomes something larger than you. But the most important part of that equation is the you part. You have to show up. You have to take it on. You have to give it energy and action. And that's what's hard for us. So most of success is showing up. Most of it. I would say 75 to 90% of a success is showing up. It's just being the one that shows up. You know how many people have talent and never act on it? How many people are brilliant but never act on it for whatever reason it may be, whether they feel they're not qualified enough or intelligent enough, or they believe what other people have said and that told them you shouldn't do that because that's not for you, whatever the case may be. You know, they tear themselves down. It doesn't matter. But they have all this talent, they have all this ability, they have all this skill, but they don't act on it. So if you don't show up, then nothing's going to happen. You're just going to be there wishing that you had shown up or hoping that something happens. You have to make it happen. And in order for you to make it happen, you have to show up. That's the key. So for today, for Monday, as we start our week, remember to show up in your life. That's the key. You have to show up in your life. And above all, be uncommon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know about showing up in your life, and let me know about should I wear a hat or not. I'd be curious to find out what you guys think. Have a great day.